I became involved with the PSL last year through the Seize BP campaign. The BP oil spill was a disaster caused by capitalist greed, but the devastating effects of this disaster fell on the workers and the delicate environment of the Gulf Coast. BP told lie after lie as they continued to pump toxic chemicals into the water to hide the oil and cover up the true scope of this environmental catastrophe. BP continued to rake in record profits, even as families all along the coast faced losing a way of life that had existed for generations. The media campaign to assure us that everything is back to normal has been overwhelming, but our fragile coastal ecosystem may never be the same, and the toxic health effects of the oil and dispersants are just beginning to come to light. To this day, residents have not been compensated for their losses, and tar balls continue to wash up on shore. The Seize BP campaign was a focused response with a clear demand. It helped me direct my anger and outrage where it belonged, at the capitalists whose unrelenting greed caused this unprecedented disaster. Under capitalism, the drive for ever-increasing profits means that the environment, the law, and the people who suffer are less important than the money to be made. Capitalism doesn't just allow companies like BP to get away with disasters like the spill in the Gulf. It creates the circumstances that encourage this kind of careless behavior and disregard for people and the planet. Working on the Seize BP campaign allowed me to find my voice and direct my energy in a meaningful way. I'm passionate about the BP spill because I grew up on the Gulf Coast. I understand the hopelessness of rural poverty. I looked up the census statistics for Choctaw County, Alabama, where I grew up, to give you a little perspective on what it was like there. The median income for a male as of the 2000 census was $32,316. For a female, it was only $18,760. Poverty is widespread and it affects everyone, but people of color and women are hit hardest of all. There are very few jobs of any kind, but the best jobs are in mills and factories. Access to resources is extremely limited. The nearest hospitals, supermarkets, malls, and other city comforts are all at least an hour's drive away. People live in trailers and houses that are literally falling apart. The state where I grew up is a beautiful place, but it is also a place that offered me no future. In recent months, Alabama has passed the most racist, far-reaching anti-immigrant legislation in the country. There are still no jobs and no industry. Crime is increasing as unemployment, addiction, and hopelessness continue to dominate poor communities. Growing up in that environment gave me an early awareness of racism, of women's oppression, and of the struggles that unite us as workers. As a little girl, I used to read my father's union newspapers, and I grew up with an understanding that our interests as workers are not the same as the interests of those who own everything. I'm grateful for the perspective and understanding my upbringing gave me, and I'm still hopeful that workers in the South will realize our common interests and refuse to be manipulated by fear and hate. When the Occupy movement began to take hold across the United States and around the world, I was inspired by the passion and dedication behind the movement. One of its great strengths is that people are thinking and talking in a serious way about issues that aren't usually discussed. After I attended the first General Assemblies and marches, I began to realize a real need for organization and a clear sense of purpose. The power of the Occupy movement is the power of the working class united. When we stand together to demand our rights, we become a revolutionary force. But we must be organized. We must have clear goals, and we must focus on creating real systemic change. We must be dedicated to changing our society, not just tearing down capitalism, but offering an alternative. We need a revolutionary party dedicated to education and leadership, dedicated to the struggle. Time and time again, on issues from the BP disaster to NATO intervention in Libya, and most recently in the Occupy movement, for me, the PSL has been a voice of reason in the madness. I joined the PSL because I want to be part of an organization that is not subject to the manipulation of the media and major political parties. I want to fight the cause of our problems, with a clear focus on class awareness and class unity. I joined the PSL because it is not enough for me to believe. I want to take action. I joined because I wanted to dedicate myself to uniting the working class, to fighting this vicious, corrupt capitalist system, and to building a new and equal society. If you haven't read it yet, I encourage you to pick up the program with the PSL to learn more about what we stand for and how you can join us. Together we can fight, and together we will win.